Welcome to FanView Frank. Today we have special guest Drew Volpe, owner of Woking FC and 3 minor league baseball teams. Let's jump right in.
So my background is it's minor league baseball, and so what got me into Woking was that the general manager of one of our teams in Stockton, California, was John Katz, who was my business partner in Woking, and he came to me at the 2019 baseball winter meetings, and he came to me and he said, "Do you want to get involved with English football?" And I said, I'd love to talk about that. And so the next steps were, what am I doing? Because I had no idea, this is outside of my comfort zone in terms of what goes on. I think the big thing is that, people don't realize that you can buy a team, whether it's a baseball team, whether it's a football team, for a small amount of money. But there's a lot more that goes into it afterwards. And so that's what I've been dealing with for the last couple of years.
Well, I assume minor league baseball is profitable, right? Like those teams
It
are.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you kind of assume that be a bit of the same with Woking?
It's interesting because no, but at the same time, I saw your interview with the Crawley guys, and obviously what they're doing has been fantastic because they're moving up. But the main goal is to get promoted.
Right.
It's not profitable unless you move up. And so we came so close 2 years ago to moving up the ladder. But it's something that takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort to even be relevant.
Right. Could you give like approximate figures of what it would take to make a team relevant in the National League? I'm not saying give Woking's numbers, but just a ballpark guess.
So that's a good question. For us, when we bought the team, obviously Ryan Reynolds and McElhaney bought Wrexham right after it.
Right.
And so we were kind of playing with fire in terms of we should not have gone for promotion those years because we had Notts County, Chesterfield, Wrexham. We can't compete with those teams financially.
Sure.
They had budgets of, $5+ million. But at the same time, we could have, because it's just it's a fickle business, and I would say £2 million a year is probably what you need.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you, on BBC, you stated you lost a little bit under £3.5 million.
Yeah.
That must be really significant, obviously, for anyone. When did you start kind of looking for additional investment? What was your oh man, where the ship's kind of sinking moment financially?
It was not a ship is sinking. It's more the fact that I poured in all this money and my business partner was not putting money in. So it became one-sided. It's nothing against him. It's just the reality of how it happened. So I reached out to some investment banks in the UK and the United States, all the big names that people know, about finding an investor or a buyer. And so the goal now is, I don't want to say it's done, but it's pretty much completed.
That's great.
Yeah. I'll keep 10%, they'll have 85%, but it was 18 months, the process. So if anyone's looking to get into a club, if you want a way out, it takes a lot longer than that.
Sure. I definitely respect your openness on BBC. You laid out the situation, how it was. You were super transparent.
I think a lot of people don't respect that, but...
No, I thought it was cool. I mean, you just said it how it was.
Yeah, it's who I am.
Yeah. So you said in that, I think, a July interview, you said you might have to sell the club for £1 with some sort of provisions that you would get some money back along the way.
So that's obviously I was saying things to stir the pot.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was pretty funny.
That was my entire goal of that. And to be honest, it accomplished that because the amount of people talking to, I was over for 4 matches and talking to the other owners, they're all in the same spot. I mean, people are very quiet about this, and I was happy to be open about what the National League is really like. I think, the guys at Crawley, any level that's not, Chelsea, Man U, is dealing with the same issues that we deal with.
So you'd say from the Prem down, pretty much everyone is losing money.
I mean, even the Prem. I mean, there's the thing that I always say is that there's a reason why Barcelona has gone bankrupt 3 times in the last 10 years.
Right.
Barcelona. I mean, it's a terrible business, but it's once it's in your veins, it's hard to get out of it. I mean, I love the community. I love the supporters. I love the pageantry of everything that goes on. I mean, it's just it's amazing. It's like SEC football on steroids.
Yeah, it's pretty electric.
Yeah.
So you received a $600,000 loan to start this season. This new deal, is this going to be able to cover that?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Cover that.
Nice.
Cover that and more. Yeah. It's
Nice.
it's a good deal for both parties.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
I don't want my parents hating me for the rest of my life. So
Yeah, that's super fair. All right. So do you see Woking going up the table this season? Guys are off to a good start, sitting in fourth now.
Obviously, I'm biased, and I think that there's a chance that we could, but it's too early in the game. I think the world of our manager, Michael Doyle. I think that just seeing the guys play together, it's way more cohesive than it was last year. I mean, yeah, I think there's definitely a chance that we can get promoted.
And then, other than one being profitable and one being a brutal business, what would you say are the key differences between owning a minor league baseball teams and owning a National League football club?
The biggest difference is that we pay the players. And so, we have young men that we just re-upped a kid who's been a star named Matt Ward, who he has 2 goals in 5 games. And in minor league baseball, you basically run the menu. You don't run anything else.
Okay.
It's because obviously the A's, Orioles, Mariners, they pay the players. For me, it's like on a personal level, developing these boys into men, and making sure that they are set up to succeed. Some of them end up in the championship, some of them end up in the Premier League. That's what means the most to me, because they're good humans.
Right.
We have some interesting characters. We had a guy he left our team to go on Celebrity Big Brother, and he won.
That's awesome.
He won. We have another guy, Denon Lewis, who was voted best kisser on Love Island. But it's like it's those type of stories. It's those type of stories that I love, because it's so absurd, and I'm like, how did I ever get involved with this? But it's, to me, yeah. At the end of the day, it's about developing these kids into men, and having them. I want them to leave. I want Michael Doyle, our manager, to leave, to go on to something bigger.
Right.
Because otherwise, what's the point in doing it?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. You're trying to
Yeah.
make sure that they achieve everything they want to achieve. So
Yeah.
that's great. Now, going back to you stirring the pot on BBC, I'm disappointed to hear you say that selling the team for £1 was kind of in jest, because I was like, man, I got £1 right now. Can I buy the team? That would be real.
Well,
that would be sweet.
So a lot of people, like, obviously that was the comment that stirred the pot, but the process of buying a team. I mean, we paid. This is, as you probably can tell, I'm very open about everything. We only paid about $600K to buy Woking,
Okay.
but the monthly the burn rate was about 250K.
Wow.
And that was, so I was footing that bill for 3.5 years. So
Wow.
it adds up
And
fast.
once again, not asking Woking per se, but what?
Ask me anything.
Okay. What are the monthly revenues like with broadcasting, tickets, concessions, all that? Like, what are you?
I can give you yearly. I can't give you monthly.
Okay, that's fine.
We did about 1.4 million revenue.
Okay.
Broadcasting, that wasn't a thing until, in terms of, you probably know about the DAZN or DAZN or whatever you say it, that deal. That just happened this year, but we've had a streaming service since McElhenney and Reynolds got involved,
Yeah.
and we probably make £20 a week on that.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's very much. They would have 60,000 viewers. We would have 13.
Sure.
So, I mean, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. But that's, I mean, it's nice for me being in America and being able to watch on on a Saturday morning. But
Yeah.
people thinking that there's been a lot of money that's coming in the National League is wrong. With welcome to Wrexham and all that stuff. It's not. It hasn't benefited everyone.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely seems like Wrexham's just shooting right up, but
Yeah, it's and props to them because they did a amazing job of flooding the team with money. And
right.
I've been to Wrexham and their directors are great. Rob and Ryan and Will Ferrell were sitting in a different director's box across from me. But
That's cool.
yeah, no, I mean it's any publicity is good publicity, but it's I don't think that they care in the same way that most of the owners care in the league.
Okay. If you were given another chance, let's say it's 2020, your business partner is saying, "Hey, there's this team Woking." Knowing what you know now, would you have jumped in all the way again?
I'd do it again. Yeah.
Love that.
There's so many people that I've met in the community, and Woking's a beautiful place. It's right outside of London, so no, I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I'll continue to do everything I can to help the community.
Right. And what would you say are your biggest takeaways and perhaps lessons learned that you've
Don't
taken away?
invest in the soccer team. If you want to lose all your money, it's a good way to do it. But
It's a fun way to lose money, though.
I mean, it's kind of yeah, it's true. My biggest takeaway, I mean, I think that if you care enough about the community that you're getting involved with, whether you're doing oil and gas, whether you're doing soccer, whether you're doing baseball, whatever it is, if you care about them and you can put them ahead of your own financial interests, do it. Because there's so many unique, amazing people that you can meet that, and I would say in sports specifically, you just can't do that in anything else. Because I went to SMU, so I'm, somewhat familiar with big time college football, but
For sure.
you cannot put enough. I call it the tribalism of English football. It's unique, and you can't find that anywhere else other than England.
Yeah, it is. It does seem to be very special. I've probably started watching football or soccer, whatever you want to call it, since
You better call it
2018.
football.
Yeah, I know, or else I'll get killed. But
Yeah.
have you ever made that mistake? Did you ever call it
Oh,
soccer
I made that mistake
there?
for about 2 years, and then I realized that I had to
great.
change that. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your next time over there, and when do you think the deal's gonna get done?
Well, I just got back. I'm jet lagged as
Right.
hell right now. but I'll be going back in November. I think the deal will be done probably in the next 4 weeks.
That's
So
great. That's great news for you.
yeah, it's great news for me. I'll stay on the board. I'll be 10% owner. I'm looking forward to. It's kind of going to be a transition to my anxiety about having to write a check for 250K every month
Yeah,
goes
that's
away. And
crazy.
now I can focus on supporting the club any way I can.
Great. Well, I think that's all I have. I really do appreciate you taking time when you're super jet lagged and just coming back. Have a good one,
All right,
Drew.
appreciate it.
All right, later.